Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, and welcome to Command Power, the show in which we discuss all things Magic the Gathering with a focus on Commander. And today we have another episode in our Spoiler Spotlight series in which I talk about, well, spoilers and tell you what my thoughts are on them. But before that, just a quick reminder to please click subscribe if you enjoy these videos. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers and it means the world to me. Much appreciated. And today we're going to be talking about Elesh Norn from March of the Machines. And for 2 colorless and 2 white, Elesh Norn is a legendary creature, Phyrexian Praetor 3/5 with Vigilance, and whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, that source's controller loses 2 life unless they pay 1. It also has 2 colorless and 1 white, sacrifice 3 other creatures, exile Elesh Norn, then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control, activate only as a sorcery. And on the other side, it is the Argent Etchings, a saga with 3 steps. The first step says incubate 2 5 times, then transform all incubator tokens you control. And if you don't know what incubator tokens are, they're tokens a bit like treasures or food that you can pay 2 mana to flip over into a creature, which is a 0/0. However, since this one says incubate 2, that means they're going to get 2+1/+1 counters when they flip. The second chapter is creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain double strike until end of turn. And the third chapter is destroy all other permanents except for artifacts, lands, and Phyrexians, exile the Argent Etchings, then return it to the battlefield front face up. So here we are, the final form of Elesh Norn without any honorific, and curiously this is the smallest Elesh Norn we have as a 3/5 instead of a 4/7, which is kind of weird to be honest, but it still retains the vigilance from all of its previous forms. However, that first ability is absolutely nuts. It's going to be incredibly powerful in a commander game because it's basically another kind of stacks pillow fort effect, but coming on your commander, which makes it incredibly strong. And the interesting thing is it actually works on offense as well. So you can swing in with your army of 1/1 tokens or what have you, and then if they block any of them, they're going to have to pay 1 mana for each one they block or lose 2 life, which is going to be really annoying. On defense, it also means that anytime you get hit, whether you block or don't, they're going to have to pay 1 mana or they're going to take 2 life. This is most likely going to mean that people are not going to attack you so much. It also synergizes really well with the vigilance on Elesh Norn, which means that she can likely trigger this ability on attack and on defense. The only way this isn't triggering is if they don't block your creatures, but then you're dealing damage to them anyway. So obviously this ability synergizes very well with Vigilance, so something like Heliod, God of the Sun, would be very good in a deck helmed by this commander. But of course that is not all the card does. That wouldn't be enough for a 4-drop these days. It also has the entire other side. The tricky part is going to be flipping it safely, because anybody who plays against this is going to be absolutely certain to keep a removal spell for when you try to go for this, since the saga is just absolutely game winning and backbreaking. There is a little bit of a cost, seeing as it's at sorcery speed. You can't really respond by activating the ability again, so you kind of just have 1 shot, and you better have some protection spells or some ways to keep your Elesh Norn alive if you want it to transform. But if it does transform, it's absolutely huge. You're immediately going to get 5/2/2s, 10 power right off the bat. That's pretty strong. And then next turn, when you flip over to the second chapter, you're going to be hitting them for 30 damage out of nowhere, even assuming that you have nothing else on the board, which is absolutely incredible, of course. And if it ever gets to the third chapter, that's actually pretty good too. It's a board wipe that's going to be fairly one-sided because most of your stuff is going to be artifacts or Phyrexians, presumably if you built your deck right, at which point it's possible that you have a one-sided board wipe or close to it. And if anyone is running an enchantment, planeswalker, or battle deck, they're going to be pretty sad if that ability resolves. So it's just a very brutal effect. And just as with Jin-Gitaxias, this immediately is going to flip back over to the front side when it resolves, so you can just start the value train going again. And since you have 5 tokens from the first chapter in the saga, you can immediately flip it again if you want to, which just means that it kind of self-fuels very well. This is my main concern with these 2 Praetors that we've seen so far. It just seems a bit too easy to keep the chain going, although I think Elesh Norn is a little bit trickier than Jin-Gitaxias because you do have to give up 3 permanents to do so, whereas with Jin-Gitaxias you get to still have your 7 cards in hand even if they remove it for whatever reason. In any case, they're both very win more cards. If you ever get to flip them when you're ahead and somebody can't remove them, then you're probably very likely to win the game because they just accrue you so much value that you don't even need to play anything else. You can just keep everything else safe in hand. Even if they have a board wipe, then you still have your full grip to rebuild with. It's just an incredibly strong effect. And the curious thing about Elesh Norn, I think, is that the front side is often going to be better than the saga side, and you might not be that interested in flipping it half the time because honestly that tax effect is really good on defense, but almost better on the offense. If you play this in a deck that's going to make a bunch of small tokens, your opponents just aren't going to have enough mana to pay for that, at which point it kind it makes a lot of your tokens almost unblockable, which is really obnoxious. I think this is going to be a powerhouse in Commander, and I really hope I open one of these. So there you have it. Those have been my thoughts on this new spoiler. What do you think about this card? Please let me know in the comment section below. I read all comments and respond to all of them too. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like or subscribe. It really helps the channel. And until next time, take care.